here we are. We are on YoshiMario's entry. Before we start, I just have a couple questions to ask you real quick, just to kind of give the people the idea of your experience and what you were doing with the map here. So, how long have you been mapping for TF2?
Well, I joined the Discord server like about a year ago, but I've been doing my own bit of dabbling for probably a little longer, maybe a year or two more than that, so about 2 to 3 years.
Nice. Alright. And when you saw the DuskTillDawn contest announcement, and when you decided to make your own entry, why did you make this map, this theme, and kind of like what inspired you to make this?
Okay. Well, that's a much more complex question because I don't think I even have the ability to answer that to myself, but I guess for me, the big thing is like I don't see a lot of proper mining theme maps in Team Fortress 2, and the limited space in width and depth for the map means that like if you want a lot of space, you have to go more vertical, which is a interesting challenge.
Yeah, that's exactly true. I definitely think that your maps is one of the ones that takes the most advantage of the infinite height. Because, yeah, this is very expansive, so...
Although, actually, if I load up the map in Hammer, I actually think I just flat out set the skybox to be the same.
Oh, really?
The width and depth of the map as well, although I didn't fully utilize that in the dimensions.
Right. Well, dang, there you go. I guess if anything, it's more so a case of like complexity. Like you're using like there's not a lot of dead space kind of going on. For sure.
The 2D views in Hammer are very dense.
I can imagine.
Like you can't make much out unless you already know what's supposed to be where.
Fair enough. Alright, so, as you said obviously already, this is, I think it's pretty obvious, a mining theme map. When you kind of went out and you started making this, because there are a lot of things going on, did you start with a bit of a plan, or did you just kind of like build one area and just kind of keep building out from there?
As with all my maps, I tend to just start at one area and just kind of extend it from there. This area right here actually is the very first set of geometry I started putting together.
Oh, dang. There you go. Yeah,
The size extension that Freya gave us, this was the center of the map. Now the origin's like somewhere behind these.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. Dang, well there you go. So yeah, that I do find myself doing a pretty similar thing. Of you just kind of go with it because I don't know. I do think like it definitely shows here, especially for a mining kind of detail entry. It kind of just like it feels very kind of freeform.
Yeah.
So I definitely think, yeah, that definitely paid off. Is there anything like about your entry that you really like, or is it kind of, or like what's your favorite part of your map?
My favorite part would be the lighting and just aesthetic of the map.
No, it's definitely very strong. Especially, I think you did a good job with like I remember you said it in the Discord, having these very saturated lights.
Yeah, the color values on these lamps are like full-on orange, not just like some like slightly tinted color.
No, it definitely helps to sell the kind of like mining cave oil lamp.
Yeah, the size of these areas are not something that you would normally see in TF2 normally because it's too small and too tight to actually fit through.
Right.
For a detail entry like this, it works just simply because the whole point is detail, not gameplay.
Oh, totally. I actually think it's kind of funny that you say that because I remember in Construction Zombies stream, if you've seen that, they were saying that they would really like to see this as like a Saxon Hill versus Saxon Hill map.
Definitely could work as a deathmatch map. I might even just port it in a open fortress and just get a functional deathmatch map out of it.
That would be fun, actually. I would really like to see that.
Also, I'm gonna point out one of my several errors that are now gonna gnaw at me forever. If you look right here, you can actually see through the world.
That is unfortunate.
Line up the displacements there.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, with the amount of displacement work you have going on here, I think it was bound to happen somewhere, so.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair though, like, I did not notice that until you just said it, so I suppose it's not, like, too big.
It on a Construction Zombies stream.
Oh gosh, that sucks.
But he didn't spot it, so.
Okay, well, wipe sweat from brow there.
Actually climb up as a scout.
Oh, really?
Due to his double jump. Yeah, you can't climb up it as a normal class.
I know that, yeah, I know that a few people have done some, like, interesting tricks to get the ladders to work, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, it's a pretty minor thing.
Just in the open fortress, because open fortress properly supports ladders, I have the ladder brush set there.
There you go. That'll do it.
It will function in the deathmatch version.
And then I do know that some people, going on to a few like of critiques I've heard, I do know that some people have said that they feel like the map prioritizes how big it is over like the density of the detail. Would you say that that's true, or do you think that it's just the way you detail it?
It's more just kind of in line with my mapping style, is that I focus on the general space, not so much, because for a map this size, detailing everything to the absolute brink is a huge undertaking.
Oh, for sure.
And by the time I was doing the displacements here, I was already starting to get really pressed for time, and detailing everything to the absolute brink just wasn't practical for me.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, I think with the amount of brushwork and displacement work on here, it pretty much makes up for that, just because this is really impressive on its own.
Forever bothered me as well because of
yeah,
his hammer doesn't actually have the previews functioning, so I can't see how it looks in hammer, so I have to compile it. Compiles.
Yeah, a couple people were saying that they felt like this map being very similar to TF2's default map themes of kind of Dust Bowl and Badlands and whatnot was kind of boring for them. How would you like reply to that? Do you agree with that, or do you think that's just like a case of preference, or?
I think that's more just a case of preference, at least to me, because like I don't see, at least in my experience, I don't see a whole lot of the default themed maps being made anymore, which actually kind of makes me sad because it's actually a really good theme, if you ask me.
No, I'd actually agree with you, and that's why, yeah, when I made my entries, I did the same thing.
As I stated earlier, I haven't seen a full-on in-cave mining theme.
Right, exactly.
Which is kind of what I'm trying to pull with Stage 2 of Nuzzles.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That'll be interesting to see how that turns out. A lot of people were saying they felt like this map did a really good job of feeling like a functional facility. As far as there were like all the components are there, you had like the loading dock and then the moving areas with the mine carts all connecting up right, and then the whole shaft and everything. Again, did this just kind of come from like because you said you worked without planning loads beforehand? Was this kind of a thing that happened naturally, or were you like actually thinking about, okay, this is what a mine needs, needs this, needs this?
It legit was literally like, I want this thing, and then it's like, okay, how would I navigate that as a user? Because my biggest priority was just having spaces, being able to get between spaces without like using no clip.
Yeah, exactly. No, it does a very good job of, you can see everything in the map by just running. I think that shows for sure.
Overlay didn't render in the final compile.
Oh, what was it? What was the overlay supposed to be?
Down here, if you jump, it's supposed to be a gradient overlay.
Oh.
On the wall back.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
And also another overlay issue, if we come over here to the truck on the other side, the skybox road there.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Cooperate with me in the slightest. Fix it for the life of me.
I saw that, yeah. And actually that segues pretty well into the last big thing I wanted to say, and that was one of the hardest challenges with the Dusk Till Dawn, or any detailing contest for that matter, is, in my opinion, trying to match the skybox with the map, because that size limit means that you tend to get right up close and personal with the seams. Would you say that, how do you feel, because I know there are obviously, you can see the seams in certain places more than others for sure.
Yeah.
Can you think of a better way to do that in this case? Or do you think it's just one of those things where if you had more time?
I think for me, I'm just kind of like, maybe if I had more time and just gave more effort into making the seams less obvious, because right here the seam is incredibly obvious due to the light lamp right there.
Yeah.
And the fact
Exactly.
that like a size extension would fix that, or just kind of, as it is right now, it's probably not fixable.
Yeah.
It's really about how you place your laying.
Do you think part of that came from, not planning as much with that? Or do you think that that's just kind of gonna happen no matter what, really?
If you plan it out correctly and, you can probably make it so that, the seam is incredibly not obvious, but, as is a very apparent already, I basically used the maximum space I could.
Oh, for sure.
Map.
Yeah, definitely. Alright, and then last but not least, anything else you would do differently if you had more time to make this?
I think really just fixing errors, making spaces a little more cohesive.
That's true. You could, yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, just spend more time refining, maybe adding
Polishing and everything. Yeah,
I
exactly.
think where that room is, it's fluffy in.
Oh yeah, I'm curious to see this now.
No clip through this wall.
Clip. Yep, there we go. Oh my god, there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
There's also a room above here.
Oh really?
It's very empty.
Oh yeah, what do you know?
I think anyone has spotted this in all of the things I've seen so far. But yeah.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Good hide something space.
Oh no, that just looking at that from outside, you can totally tell that this is perfectly spaced for it. Well, there you go. Any final thoughts before I finish up?
I think that's pretty much everything. The skybox itself is above the space, and I didn't bother to put brushes, or rather displacements from areas that aren't visible in the actual map.
Yeah, and that's the best way to do it, really. I sometimes know I have problems with that, visualizing what is going to be seen from the map or not, so it's just, I think it is one of those things that takes a lot of practice. Oh, I was going to say real quick, it's kind of funny, because I think it just is a sign of how nice looking the skybox is, but myself, you, and another person I've interviewed have all used the skybox.
It is a very nice skybox.
Kudos to who made that. I don't actually remember who made it, but it's a nice one.
It's a frontline prop.
Yeah, you're probably right. Alright, well, I think that's going to be everything. Thank you very much for letting me interview and joining and everything. And, yeah.